Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Thursday, May 31st, 2018. Today I'm going to recap last night's Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Capitals and the Golden Knights. Look at today's Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Cavs and the Warriors. Go over all yesterday's baseball and look ahead to today's baseball. I'll do my NBA mock draft. And we are 2 months away from the baseball trade deadline. I'll discuss that as well. And we are underway with the podcast. The Capitals defeat the Golden Knights 3-2 as they even up the Stanley Cup Final at 1 apiece. Huge win for the Capitals. The save of the game by Braden Holtby with just under 2 minutes to go. It was a stick save that saved the game for the Capitals, or else they might be staring at a 0-2 deficit. And that was just surreal of a save. First period, James Neal's 5th of the playoffs, assisted by Colin Miller and Lucas Sabisa. 1-0 Knights. Lars Eller's 6th of the playoffs, assisted by Matt Kempney and Andrei Burakovsky, ties it up at 1 apiece. Second period, Alex Ovechkin's 13th of the playoffs, first Stanley Cup Finals career goal on the power play, assisted by Nick Bastrop and Lars Eller. 2-1 Capitals. Brooks Orpik's 1st of the playoffs, assisted by Lars Eller and Andrei Burakovsky. 3-1 Caps. Shea Theodore, 3rd of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Riley Smith and William Karlsson. Got the Knights within 3-2. No scoring in the third period. But I talked about the Holtby save, which was the save of the playoffs. That was the best save I've seen in probably 4 years. That was just an unreal save by Holtby. I can't stop talking about it. 37 saves on 39 shots. Marc-Andre Fleury, 23 saves on 26 shots. Game 3 from D.C. will be Saturday night. NBA Finals, Game 1 tonight. Cavaliers-Warriors, 9 o'clock, ABC. Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Doris Burke on the call. Andre Iguodala's out tomorrow. Kevin Love is game time decision. Whether Love plays or not, the Warriors will still find the way to win. Whether Iguodala's healthy or not, the Warriors are just flat out better. Give me Golden State 115-100. And I think the Cavaliers will be in this game for, let's say, 2.5 quarters. And Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green will take off to lead the Warriors to a double-digit Game 1 victory. Baseball. Interesting results from yesterday. The Red Sox defeated the Blue Jays 6-4 as they improved to 39-17. Toronto drops to 25-31. Eduardo Rodriguez with the win. He's 6-1 on the year now. Sam Gaviglio with the loss drops to 2-1. Craig Kimbrell with the save. Bottom of the third RBI double, Jackie Bradley Jr. and 1-0 Red Sox. Bottom of the fifth, home run Eduardo Nunez, 2-0 Red Sox. Top of the sixth, 2-run home run Teoscar Hernandez ties it up at 2 apiece. Bottom of the sixth, 2-run home run JD Martinez. There was a long home run over to Monster. 4-2 Red Sox. Bottom of the eighth, RBI double Eduardo Nunez. 5-2 Red Sox. RBI single Brock Holt. 6-2 Red Sox. Top of the ninth, 2-run double by Kendrys Morales. Got the Blue Jays within 2, but ultimately the Red Sox hold on for the win. Craig Kimbrell comes on and gets the save. Eduardo Rodriguez, 6 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk and 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.88 ERA. Sam Gaviglio, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.32 ERA. The Indians absolutely destroyed the White Sox 9-1 as they improved to 29-25. That's their 5th straight win. Chicago drops to 16-37. Corey Kluber with the win, now 8-2 on the year. Reynaldo Lopez with the loss, he drops to 1-4. Bottom of the first, well pitched by Reynaldo Lopez allows Greg Allen to score. 1-0 Indians. Sacrifice fly, Melky Cabrera, 2-0 Indians. Bottom of the third, RBI single, Edwin Encarnacion. 3-0 Indians. 2-run double, Melky Cabrera, 5-0 Indians. Sacrifice fly, Yan Gomes, 6-0 Indians. RBI single, Eric Gonzalez, 7-0 Indians. Bottom of the fourth, home run Jose Ramirez, 8-0 Indians. Home run Edwin Encarnacion, 9-0 Indians. Top of the ninth, home run Yolmer Sanchez got the White Sox on the board, but the Indians held on to win 9-1. Corey Kluber, outstanding, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and 10 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.02 ERA. Reynaldo Lopez, his worst start of the year, 2 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts, leaves the game with an ERA of 3.8. The Brewers defeated the Cardinals 3-2 as they improved to 36-21. The Cardinals dropped to 29-24. Jared Jeffries with the win. Sam Tuivalu with the loss. Corey Knebel with the save. Jeffries is 5-0 on the year. Knebel got his 5th save. And Tuivalu is now 1-1. Bottom of the 5th, Fielder's Choice, Christian Yelich, 1-0 Brewers. Top of the 7th, home run, Harrison Bader ties it up at 1 apiece. Sacrifice fly, Tommy Pham, 2-1 Cardinals. Bottom of the 7th, home run, Christian Yelich ties it up at 2 apiece. RBI single, Orlando Arcia, 3-2 Brewers is your final. Junior Guerrero, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.65 ERA. Alex Reyes in his first start, back from Tommy John surgery. They didn't push him. They only went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, has an ERA of 0. The Reds defeated the Diamondbacks 7-4 as they avoid the sweep and improve to 28-37 on the year. The Diamondbacks dropped to 28-27. Sal Romano with the win improves to 3-6. Patrick Corbin with the loss, he drops to 5-2, and Rafael Iglesias with the save, his 9th of the year. Bottom of the first, 2-run home run, Paul Goldschmidt, 2-0 Diamondbacks. RBI single, David Peralta, 3-0 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the third, home run, John Ryan Murphy, 4-0 Diamondbacks. Top of the fourth, grand slam, Adam Duvall, ties it up at 4 apiece. Top of the sixth, 2-run home run, Scott Schebler, 6-4 Reds. Top of the ninth, RBI single, Eugenio Suarez, 7-4 Reds is your final. Sal Romano, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 6 ERA. Patrick Corbin, 6 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, and 10 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.99 ERA. The Yankees defeat the Astros 5-3 as they improved to 35-17. Houston drops to 35-22. Luis Severino with the win, he's 8-1 on the year now. Dallas Keuchel drops to 3-7. Aroldis Chapman with the save, that's his 12th of the year. Bottom of the first, sacrifice fly, Giancarlo Stanton, 1-0 Yankees. Top of the fifth, 2-run home run, Max Stassi gives the Astros a brief 2-1 lead. Bottom of the fifth, the Yankees answer, 2-run single, Gary Sanchez, 3-2 Yanks. Bottom of the sixth, RBI single, Didi Gregorius, 4-2 Yanks. RBI double, Aaron Hicks, 5-2 Yankees. Top of the ninth, RBI double, Max Stassi, 5-3 Yankees was your final. Luis Severino, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 11 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.31 ERA. Dallas Keuchel, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.65 ERA. The Nationals beat the Orioles 2-0 as they improved to 32-22. The Orioles dropped to 17-39. Max Scherzer with the win, he's 9-1 on the year now. David Hess with the loss, he drops to 2-2. Sean Doolittle with the save, that's his 13th of the year. Top of the third, home run, Bryce Harper, 1-0 Nats. Top of the seventh, RBI single, Juan Soto, 2-0 Nationals. That's your final. Max Scherzer was brilliant, 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 12 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.92 ERA. David Hess, 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.47 ERA. The Pirates defeat the Cubs 2-1 as they improved to 29-26. The Cubs dropped to 29-23. Joe Musgrove with the win, he's 2-0 on the year. Kyle Hendricks with the loss, he drops to 4-4. Felipe Vasquez with the save, that's his 10th of the year. Top of the first, RBI single, Javier Baez, 1-0 Cubs. Bottom of the first, home run, Josh Harrison ties it up at 1 apiece. Bottom of the second, sacrifice fly, Gregory Polanco, 2-1 Pirates is your final. Joe Musgrove, 7 innings, 7 hits, an earned run, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 0.64 ERA. Kyle Hendricks, 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout, leaves the game with a 3.19 ERA. The big story of this game is that there was a benches clearing incident as Joe Musgrove slid hard into second base trying to avoid the double play, but the benches cleared, and although there wasn't any punches thrown, that was the story of this game, as that came from Anthony Rizzo's hard slide from the other day. The Tigers defeated the Angels 6-1 as they improved to 25-30. The Angels dropped to 30-26. Lewis Coleman with the win. Cam Brodson with the loss. Coleman 2-0 now, and Brodson is 1-1. Bottom of the first, RBI single, Nick Goodrum, 1-0 Tigers. Top of the third, RBI single, Albert Pujols, sized up at 1 apiece. Bottom of the sixth, 2-run single, Jose Iglesias, 3-1 Tigers. Fielder's choice, Dixon Machado, 4-1 Tigers. RBI single, Leonis Martin, 5-1 Tigers. RBI single, Nicholas Castellanos, 6-1 Tigers is your final. Mike Fiers started the game, but there was a rain delay in the game. 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, an earned run, a walk and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.45 ERA. Shohei Ohtani, 5 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.18 ERA. A funny thing in this game is that there was a goose flying around, and it was close to the field, and then eventually hit one of the sides of the stands, and then it fell. And luckily, the goose was okay, and the video was trending on social media last night. The Mets defeated the Braves 4-1 as they improved to 27-26. The Braves dropped to 32-23. Jason Vargas with the win. He's 2-3 on the year now. Julio Teheran with the loss. He drops to 4-3. Roberto Gastelman with the save, his second of the year. Top of the fourth, ground rule double. Adrian Gonzalez, 1-0 Mets. Top of the seventh, RBI single. Brandon Nimmo, 2-0 Mets. Bottom of the seventh, home run. Johan Camargo got the Braves within 1. Top of the 8th, RBI single. Adrian Gonzalez, 3-1 Mets. Top of the 9th, RBI double. Brandon Nimmo, 4-1 Mets is your final. Jason Vargas, 5 innings, 2 hits, and no earned runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Leaves the game with an 8.53 ERA. Julio Teheran, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.03 ERA. The Royals feed the Twins 11-8 as they improve to 20-36. The Twins drop to 22-29. Kevin McCarthy with the win. He's 4-2 on the year. Fernando Romero with the loss. He drops to 2-2. And Calvin Herrera with the save. That's his 12th. Bottom of the first, 2-run double. Mike Moustakas, 2-0 Royals. Bottom of the second, the Royals put up a 7-spot sacrifice fly. John Jay, 3-0. 2-run home run. Mike Moustakas, 5-0. Ground rule double. Jorge Soler, 6-0. RBI single. Alex Gordon, 7-0. 2-run triple, Ryan Goins, 9-0. Top of the third, RBI single, Miguel Sano, 9-1. Top of the fourth, RBI double, Adrian Zana, 9-2. Top of the fifth, home run, Brian Dozier, 9-3. RBI single, Eduardo Escobar, 9-4. Top of the sixth, home run, Adrianza, 9-5. 2-run double, Miguel Sano, 9-7. Now it's a little interesting. RBI single, Eduardo Escobar, got him within 1. Bottom of the seventh, home run, Hunter Dozier, 10-8 Royals. Bottom of the eighth, home run, Jorge Soler, 11-8 Royals. That's your final. Brad Keller only went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.13 ERA. The bullpen really didn't do that well other than Herrera. Fernando Romero had a bad outing, his worst outing of his young career so far. An inning and 2/3, 9 hits, 8 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Leaves the game with a 4.15 ERA. Aaron Slegers actually didn't do a bad job in relief. 5 1/3 inning, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.38 ERA. The Giants defeated the Rockies 7-4 as they improved to 26-30. The Rockies dropped to 30-26. Derek Holland with the win, he improves to 3-6. Harrison Musgrave with the loss, he's 0-1. Hunter Strickland with the save. That's his 11th of the year. Bottom of the first, 3-run home run, Nolan Arenado, 3-0 Rockies. Top of the seventh, wild pitch, John Gray allows Brendan Crawford to score, makes it 3-1. RBI single, Pablo Sandoval, 3-2 Rockies. Bottom of the second, RBI single, Charlie Blackmon, 4-2 Rockies. Top of the fourth, bases loaded walk as a run scores. It was Gorkis Hernandez that was at the plate to make it a 4-3 game. Another bases loaded walk, Buster Posey ties up a 4 apiece. Top of the fifth, RBI triple, Evan Longoria, 5-4 Giants. RBI single, Brandon Crawford, 6-4 Giants. Top of the eighth, RBI single, Buster Posey, 7-4 Giants. That was your final. Derek Holland, 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.94 ERA. John Gray, 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 5.68 ERA. The Rays defeated the Athletics 6-0 as they improved to 28-26. The A's dropped to 28-28. Nathan Eovaldi with the win. He's 1-0. That's his first game pitched in since he had Tommy John surgery. He was with the Yankees the last time he pitched in a big league game. Sean Manaea with the loss. He's now 5-6. Top of the second, RBI double, Johnny Field, 1-0 Rays. Top of the third, a 3-run home run, Rob Refsnyder, 4-0 Rays. Top of the eighth, home run, Johnny Field, 5-0 Rays. RBI double, CJ Cron, 6-0 Rays. That's your final. Nate Eovaldi, 6 innings, no hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Leaves the game with an ERA of 0. They pulled him, I think, because of precautionary reasons, and plus it was his first start back. Good for Eovaldi. Sean Manaea is just not getting run support. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.6 ERA. The Rangers feed the Mariners 7-6 as they improve to 24-34. The Mariners drop to 33-22. Tony Barnett with the win. Mark Rashimsky with the loss. He's 0-1. Barnett's 1-0. Keone Kela with the save. That's his 12th. Bottom of the third, RBI double, Mitch Haniger, 1-0 Mariners. Top of the fourth, RBI triple, Jerks and Profar ties up at 1 apiece. RBI single, Joey Gallo, 2-1 Rangers. Bottom of the fourth, pass ball by Robinson Chirinos allows Kyle Seager to score, ties up at 2 apiece. Another wild pitch allows Mike Zunino to score, 3-2 Mariners. Sacrifice fly, Gene Segura, 4-2 Mariners. Top of the sixth, RBI single, Robinson Chirinos gets the Rangers within 1. Bottom of the sixth, RBI single, Tim Beckham, 5-3 Mariners. Top of the seventh, 2-run single, Nomar Mazara ties up at 5 apiece. 2-run double, Robinson Chirinos, 7-5 Rangers. Bottom of the ninth, RBI single, Nelson Cruz, 7-6 is your final. Matt Moore, 5 in the third innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 7.85 ERA. James Paxton, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.13 ERA. The Dodgers defeat the Phillies 8-2 as they improve to 26-29. The Phillies drop to 30-23. Ross Stripling with the win, he improves to 3-1. Zach Eflin with the loss, he drops to 1-2. Bottom of the first, RBI double, Matt Kemp, 1-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the third, home run, Max Muncy, 2-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the third as well, 2-run home run for Matt Kemp, 4-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the fourth, sacrifice by Jock Peterson, 5-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the fifth, RBI double, Chris Taylor, 6-0 Dodgers. RBI single, Ross Stripling, 7-0 Dodgers. Top of the seventh, home run, Nick Williams, 7-1. Bottom of the eighth, sacrifice by Matt Kemp, 8-1 Dodgers. Top of the ninth, infield single, Cesar Hernandez, 8-2 Dodgers was your final. Ross Stripling had his best start of the year, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.68 ERA. Zach Eflin, not a good outing, 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.5 ERA. The Padres defeated the Marlins 3-2. As they improved to 24-33, the Marlins dropped to 20-35. Matt Strahm with the win, he's now 1-2 in the year. Brad Ziegler with the loss, he drops to 0-5. Top of the fourth, 2-run home run, Starlin Castro, 2-0 Marlins. Bottom of the fourth, home run, Franmil Reyes, 2-1 Marlins. Bottom of the ninth, infield single, Hunter Renfroe allows 2 runs to score on the error by Miguel Rojas, giving the Padres a 3-2 win. Clayton Richard, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.74 ERA. Jose Urena, 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.41 ERA. Today's games, in about 20 minutes from now, you have Angels Tigers, Andrew Heaney and Ryan Carpenter. Rays Athletics at 3:30, Ryan Stanek and Daniel Megden. Yankees Orioles from Camden Yards, Sonny Gray and Andrew Cashner. That's going to be a high-scoring game. Cubs Mets, Jose Quintana and Seth Lugo. Pirates Cardinals, Trevor Williams and Jack Flaherty. Nationals Braves, Tanner Roark and Sean Newcomb. Phillies Dodgers, Aaron Nola against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's first start in about a month. See how he does. Indians Twins. Shane Bieber making his big league debut against Jake Odorizzi. Red Sox Astros. Drew Pomeranz and Lance McCullers Jr. That's a big series, especially for Boston. Marlins Padres. Wei-Yin Chen against Jordan Lyles. And Rangers Mariners, you have Mike Minor and Wade LeBlanc. All right, now I'm going to do my NBA mock draft. This is my 5th one this year. Some changes, especially at the top of the mock draft from the last one. Here we go. 1, Phoenix Suns, DeAndre Ayton, center, Arizona. After slotting Luka Doncic here 2 mock drafts ago, I switched back to Ayton, who is perhaps the draft's best prospect due to his size, soft touch at the rim, and his promising jump shot. He's drawn comparisons to Joel Embiid and Patrick Ewing, and the Suns, who really don't have a long-term true center, won't pass on him. 2, Sacramento Kings, Marvin Bagley, power forward center from Duke. Bagley could very well end up the best player from this draft class. He has great athleticism and can shoot it from 3, and it would be interesting to see what the Kings would do with Willie Cauley-Stein if they were to pick Bagley or Jaren Jackson Jr. or Mohamed Bamba perhaps here over Luka Doncic. 3. Atlanta Hawks. Jaren Jackson Jr., power forward center, Michigan State. Jackson is a bit of a wild card in this lottery portion of the draft, considering he exceeded expectations as a freshman in college and played his way to this position. Although he struggled in the big dance, his rim protecting as well as his perimeter game were excellent. 4. Memphis Grizzlies. Luka Doncic, guard, Real Madrid. Doncic will be the most proven player in the draft due to his success overseas. He is an ideal fit for the perimeter-oriented league and should have a long, productive NBA career. There are reports out there that Doncic doesn't want to play in Sacramento, so don't be shocked if Doncic drops this far. 5. Dallas Mavericks. Mohamed Bamba, the center from Texas. Bamba doesn't have much of an offensive game, but his defensive presence with his height and shot blocking should appeal to any team. Bamba would learn from Dirk Nowitzki for at least 1, if not 2 seasons, and Rick Carlisle would love some Bamba. 6. Orlando Magic. Michael Porter Jr., small forward, power forward, Missouri. Although Porter barely played college basketball, he's still worth picking here at 6. Porter has great offensive skill sets and good three-point range, but questions range about his mobility. The Magic can use someone like Porter who has versatility and has a need for versatile forwards. 7. The Chicago Bulls. Wendell Carter Jr., power forward center from Duke. The Bulls can go multiple directions with this pick, but let's slate Carter here in this spot as they go with the best player available. Carter is overshadowed on the Blue Devils due to the presence of Marvin Bagley, but his defense is excellent. He provides spacing on the floor. 8. Cleveland Cavaliers from the Brooklyn Nets via Boston Celtics. Colin Sexton, point guard, Alabama. The Cavs have a need at point guard whether LeBron James leaves this summer or not. Sexton is super fast, super quick, and forever aggressive, all of which are great qualities for anybody entering the NBA. He puts pressure on the defense basically every possession. 9. New York Knicks. Trae Young, point guard, Oklahoma. Reports out of the Combine are that the Knicks really like Young. Young is polarizing because of how his season went and how defenses started figuring him out in a conference play. That said, he has a Steph Curry type of ceiling and the Knicks may not pass on that. 10. Philadelphia 76ers from the Los Angeles Lakers via Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges, small forward, Villanova. Bridges took a massive leap this year for the Wildcats, and due to his 3-and-D capability, Bridges is one of the nicest, safest bets in this draft class. The Sixers would be a nice landing spot for him as he can begin off the bench and can eventually start. 11. Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges, small forward, Michigan State. Although Bridges might end up being a small ball power forward in the future due to his average ball handling, he is a great shooter on the wing and provides great athleticism. Bridges would be a nice fit on this rebuilding Hornets team as they can view him as a building block. 12. Los Angeles Clippers from Detroit Pistons. Kevin Knox, small forward, Kentucky. Knox hasn't been as consistent as a shooter as the Wildcats had hoped, but he still projects as a solid defender and can rebound very well. If he can develop a shot, he can end up as a rotation piece for the Clippers going forward. 13. Los Angeles Clippers. Robert Williams, power forward center, Texas A&M. Williams could have been a lottery pick last year, but decided to come back to school for one more season. Williams isn't known for his offense, but he's great at rebounding and defending the rim. He could be a poor man's DeAndre Jordan. 14. Denver Nuggets. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, guard, Kentucky. Gilgeous-Alexander's stock is trending up after he had a great season for the Wildcats. He has great size and finishing craft, defensive versatility, and maybe even quickness. He would be a nice piece for this Nuggets team, possibly replacing Will Barton. 15. Washington Wizards. Lonnie Walker, shooting guard, Miami. Walker didn't have the greatest freshman season due to him coming off the meniscus tear, which provided an interesting case for him to return to Miami for his sophomore season. That said, Walker is worth taking in this spot due to his pure talent and potential. 16. Phoenix Suns from the Miami Heat. Kyrie Thomas, shooting guard, Creighton. Thomas is interesting because he doesn't have much upside. What Thomas does have, though, is a two-way presence with great shooting and perimeter defending. This pick would be a solid one for the Suns, and he'd probably come off the bench for them. 17. Milwaukee Bucks. Zaire Smith, shooting guard, Texas Tech. Smith went from a 3-star recruit to a likely first-round pick thanks to elite athleticism and ultra-aggressive two-way play at Texas Tech. His freshman season was full of highlight reel plays with tip dunks and chase-down blocks becoming nightly occurrences. 18. San Antonio Spurs. Eli Okobo, point guard, France. Okobo has suddenly become one of the draft's most fascinating prospects, particularly after going for 44 points on only 17 shots at Pro A playoffs last week. The Spurs can use both youth and shooting, and Okobo checks both boxes. 19. Atlanta Hawks from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jerome Robinson, shooting guard, Boston College. Robinson is in the mix for the most slept-on prospect in the country due to BC's lack of success. He should be able to bring more attention to his potential during workouts, and he's athletic and would be a nice fit with the Hawks. 20. Minnesota Timberwolves from Oklahoma City Thunder. Kevin Huerter, small forward, Maryland. Huerter is a fast riser on people's mock boards. He's one of the draft's top shooters, but is also a multi-dimensional wing for his underrated playmaking ability. 21. Utah Jazz. Dante DiVincenzo, shooting guard, Villanova. DiVincenzo broke out in a major way at the Combine and forfeited the strong impression he left in March and over the course of Villanova's season. It's clear he's not a flash in the pan, as his consistent level of focus, instincts, and for forcing turnovers and grabbing rebounds and ability to hit open jumpers build in a degree of safety. 22. The Chicago Bulls from the New Orleans Pelicans. Chandler Hutchinson, small forward, Boise State. Hutchinson is one of my sleepers in this draft class. Hutchinson isn't a great shooter, but has a nice all-around game with his ability to attack the rim, rebounding, and he's a solid off-the-ball defender. 23. Indiana Pacers. Aaron Holiday, point guard, UCLA. Holiday is another one of my sleepers. He's a great shooter and scorer, especially from distance, and can hold his own defensively, but he isn't great at getting in the paint. Darren Collison isn't the long-term answer at point guard for the Pacers, and Holiday would be a nice fit there. 24. Portland Trailblazers. Troy Brown, shooting guard, small forward, Oregon. Brown is an interesting prospect, considering that he had a solid season in Oregon, but has a reputation of disappearing in games. His size and ball handling ability is what makes him worth a selection at this spot, and I like the landing spot for Brown. 25. Los Angeles Lakers from the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeAnthony Melton, shooting guard, USC. Melton was held out the entire season by the program following the role in the FBI investigation. What the Trojans missed was a bulldog defender and a skilled passer who found ways to impact the game even without a defendable jump shot. He has a Swiss Army knife type of skill set that would have fit well on any bench. 26. Philadelphia 76ers. Keita Bates-Diop, power forward, Ohio State. Bates-Diop had an outstanding junior collegiate season. What hurts Bates-Diop is his lack of athleticism, but his season cannot be ignored due to his outstanding shooting and providing matchup problems for the opposition. 27. Boston Celtics. Jacob Evans, shooting guard, small forward, Cincinnati. Evans' upside is limited, though, because he's an erratic shooter and isn't aggressive at the rim. His defense is his strength, and he can guard both wing positions very well. 28. Golden State Warriors. Melvin Frazier, small forward, Tulane. Frazier called it quits after a strong first day at the NBA Combine, which is a potential sign that he received some assurance about his draft stock. He's limited offensively, but the rising value of versatile defenders who can shoot benefits him. He'll guard multiple positions and make open shots. 29. Brooklyn Nets from the Toronto Raptors. Moritz Wagner, power forward, Michigan. Wagner's stock is trending up after a great NCAA tournament. He displays a nice shooting stroke, although his release is slow. He's a very good three-point shooter, as this makes him a very tough cover for opposing defenders. 30. Atlanta Hawks from the Houston Rockets via the Los Angeles Clippers. Mitchell Robinson, center, Chalmette High School in Louisiana. This pick would be considered a steal, considering that Robinson had the talent of a lottery pick. He had a year off from competitive basketball and has no experience beyond high school. He provides athleticism and shot blocking, which will intrigue teams, although there are questions about what else he can provide. That's it for the mock draft. And before I go, I want to talk about the fact that the MLB trading deadline is 2 months away. I want to talk about every team briefly and what direction I think they'll eventually go and what guys that could either target or possibly move. Let's start with the AL East. The Red Sox, they are going to certainly be a buyer. They can use help certainly in their bullpen behind Craig Kimbrell. Some guys haven't really proved it. Joe Kelly's been solid this year, but how long is that going to last? Maybe Kelvin Herrera's a target for them. Brad Hand maybe as well. The Yankees are obviously a buyer. They need help in their rotation behind Luis Severino, as Sonny Gray has had his struggles this year. Jordan Montgomery's currently on the disabled list. Masahiro Tanaka's erratic. CC Sabathia is getting up there in age. I think Brian Cashman knows what he's doing. He's certainly going to go out and get a starter. Cole Hamels has been linked to the Yankees. So is Michael Fulmer and Chris Archer. The guy that I think would be an excellent fit in the Bronx would be Madison Bumgarner. I said that on my podcast before the season began. I think that the Giants could possibly be a seller I'll get to them in a couple of minutes as a team, but I think there's a slim chance that the Giants actually listen to trade offers for Bumgarner and actually decide to pull the trigger. And the fit of Bumgarner in the Bronx, along with Luis Severino, would make a great twosome and would, in my mind, overtake the Astros' top of the rotation as the best among contenders. The Toronto Blue Jays, I think, are going to be a seller. Josh Donaldson's obviously going to be on the market. If I'm them, I listen to offers on Marcus Stroman, maybe even their closer, Roberto Osuna. They're an interesting team to watch as their fans are hoping that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets called up, and I'm sure they won't do that until after the trading deadline, after Donaldson will perhaps have been traded. The Tampa Bay Rays, despite them being 28 and 26 right now, I think they'll eventually be a seller. They already traded away Bernard Span and Alex Colomé. I think Daniel Robertson can be had. Obviously, Chris Archer. I don't think they'll trade away Blake Snell as he's having a breakout year for the Rays. So it should be interesting to see what they do. Maybe Rob Refsnyder gets some interest. The Baltimore Orioles, in my mind, are obviously going to be a seller. Manny Machado's the hot name among the trade market in terms of position players. I think the Dodgers and the Cubs are in play for him. Adam Jones could be had, I think. Obviously, Zach Britton, once he comes back from the disabled list. Brad Brock, I think, will be on the move as well. AL Central, the Indians have to be a buyer. Shane Bieber's making his big league debut tonight, and I'm curious to see if it will be a keeper for them or is he auditioning to be an asset for somebody down the road. It's going to be very, 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 very interesting to see what they do at the trading deadline. And I think that they can use an upgrade in the outfield as a lot of their dudes in the outfield have been hurt this year. Obviously, the bullpen needs help. They're the obvious candidate for Brad Hand and Kelvin Herrera and Zach Britton, like one of those guys in my opinion. Brad Ziegler from the Marlins is going to be out there as well. The Minnesota Twins, they're a tough team to gauge with 2 months to go. If I gun to my head, I think that they'll be doing sort of more selling than buying. Brian Dozier's in a contract year. I think he could be had. I think the Dodgers are a candidate for Brian Dozier. Maybe they can flip Logan Morrison if he has a good 2 months. They're not trading away Buxton or Jose Barrios. They are two long-term pieces for them. Miguel Sano is not going anywhere either, but if I had to guess what the Twins are doing, in my mind, they'll be a seller. Detroit's also going to be a seller. I mentioned Michael Fulmer. Nicholas Castellanos, I think, can be had. I'm interested to see if Miguel Cabrera could be this year's version of Justin Verlander if he were to get traded to a contender and have an immediate impact, like the offensive version of Verlander I'm talking about. But I doubt it. That contract's an atrocity. Victor Martinez's contract's an atrocity. So is Jordan Zimmerman's. I think that team has the most bad contracts in baseball. But guys I think can be had are their closer, Shane Green. I mentioned Nicholas Castellanos. I mentioned Michael Fulmer. I don't think Matthew Boyd's going anywhere as he's proven to be a nice building block in that rotation. The Chicago White Sox, I think, are going to be a seller. They're probably going to sell off some of their veterans. Maybe Jose Abreu can be on the market. I won't be shocked if they trade Abreu because I think that he should be on a winning ball club. He's a solid player, and I think he can help anybody. As the White Sox continue to rebuild, a lot of their guys haven't really panned out, especially on the pitching staff, other than Reynaldo Lopez. Like Lucas Giolito hasn't panned out as they thought. They have some guys coming up in the minors. Michael Chavis will eventually be there. Eloy Jimenez will eventually be there. I'm really fascinated to see what the White Sox do. I think Tim Anderson's a keeper. Matt Davidson's a keeper. Obviously, Wellington Castillo would have been a trade candidate, but he is obviously suspended for PED, so his value's trashed right now. And the Royals, I think, are going to be a seller as well. I mentioned Herrera already. Mike Moustakas, I think, is going to be available. I could see the Braves going after him. I think Alcides Escobar is going to be available. Lucas Duda is going to be available. Danny Duffy will be available. I think somebody can get him for cheap and try to rejuvenate him as he's stuck on that bad Royals team. AL West, the Houston Astros, it's obvious that they're going to be a buyer. They need bullpen help ASAP. I think that they need to go out and get possibly 2 relievers. Brad Hand would be a nice fit. Obviously, Kelvin Herrera would fit nicely there as well. So keep an eye out for them. First base, I think, can use an upgrade. Maybe that's the Jose Abreu team, as Yuli Gurriel hasn't really produced this year. They tried a couple young prospects there, like the kid, I believe his name is J.D. Davis. He had a big home run off of the Domingo Germán of the Yankees the other day, but he hasn't really done much. So I'm interested to see if they make any offense upgrades. I heard possibly that they can upgrade their outfield, but I don't think they'll do that with Kyle Tucker possibly coming up to help the club. Brian McCann's on the disabled list, but I don't think they'll upgrade the catcher position as Max Stassi's done a nice job as their backup catcher. And they also have Evan Gattis that can also catch, but he's more of a DH for them at this point of Gattis' career. The Angels are obviously going to be a buyer. I think they need some help in that rotation by Shohei Ohtani. Garrett Richards has been solid for them. Nick Tropeano has been solid. Maybe they're a team that can go out and get Danny Duffy. That would be a nice fit. Michael Fulmer's trade value, I think, has gone down. Maybe they were able to steal him from Detroit. I think some of their offensive positions need to be upgraded, especially in the outfield. Cole Kellen's been disappointing this year. Ian Kinsler hasn't really gotten going yet. Maybe they'll upgrade at second base. I think the obvious spot to upgrade there is catcher. Martin Maldonado's gotten some big hits for them, but I just don't think he's the answer long term. That's why I think JT Realmuto would be a very intriguing fit. Salvador Perez is somebody I didn't mention. I was talking about the Royals. I think he can be had potentially, but I think somebody has to blow them away to get Salvi Perez. The Seattle Mariners, despite the suspension of Robinson Cano and the injury of D. Gordon, I think they'll be a buyer. And they already showed that after going out and getting Alex Colomé and Denard Span from the Rays. I think their rotation, the back end, maybe they're the Danny Duffy team. They can use another reliever. Mike Zunino's been fine behind the plate. They don't need an upgrade there. First base, they're good. Maybe they can go out and get like a utility infielder in case they make the playoffs, because Robinson Cano is going to be ineligible for the playoffs due to his PED suspension. Or the outfield, and you can move Gordon the second, and that's why the Span acquisition makes so much sense for Seattle. So they're a team to watch. Oakland's interesting. They were playing well. Now they're at 500. I think they're going to realize that they're a year away. So I think they'll be a seller. I think Chris Davis can be had. Somebody can use him as a DH. Maybe the Angels, possibly for Chris Davis. I don't think they'll trade away Sean Manaea. Kendall Graveman's been disappointing all season. I think Blake Treinen, their closer, can be had. So that's a team to watch. I don't see them moving on from Matt Olson and Matt Chapman. They've been great in the infield. Marcus Simeon's been okay. Jed Lowry, I think, is a candidate to get traded. Maybe he goes to Seattle. That would be a nice fit for Lowry. There's some other teams I think can use Lowry, especially in the National League. And the last team in the AL West is the Texas Rangers. I think they're a seller. Cole Hamels, I think, is going to go. I don't see them trading away like Joey Gallo or Rougned Odor. I think Adrian Beltre can be had. Maybe he goes to the Braves. Jurickson Profar maybe can be had because I think they have a surplus of middle infielders. And I think they'll keep Andrews, who's currently on the disabled list, and Odor. Profar has been okay this year. He has a little bit of value. So I'm interested to see who can pick him up. And Keone Kela, if he gets better, maybe he can be had at the trade deadline. Because usually teams that sell usually trade away their closer. National League East. The Nationals are obviously going to be a buyer. I think they need a lot of bullpen help. Maybe they're the team that gets Kelvin Herrera. They're a team that can use an upgrade behind the plate. Matt Wieters is injury prone, and I don't think Pedro Severino is a full-time starter. To me, he's just a backup, and one of the better backups in the league, along with New York's Austin Romine and Houston's Max Stassi. I think they're fine in the infield. Ryan Zimmerman's been okay, but he's on the disabled list right now. Mark Reynolds and Matt Adams have been vital pickups for them. Howie Kendrick's hurt right now. Juan Soto's done a nice job filling in for Kendrick. So maybe a few tweaks for the Nationals, a couple depth pieces for them. Maybe they upgrade at closer. I think the rotation's excellent. Jeremy Hellickson proved to be an excellent pickup for them, so they don't need rotation help. But to me, the bullpen needs some tweaks. The Atlanta Braves are going to be a buyer, a surprise buyer. That's a team I predicted before the year that would be a seller. Now I think that they're going to be a buyer. I think the back end of the rotation can use some help. They're a team that could possibly go out and get Danny Duffy from the Royals. Another guy that would interest them. If he turns it around a little bit, maybe Andrew Kashner. That would be a nice fit. That's a big ballpark, and Kashner seems to thrive in bigger ballparks. That would be a nicer fit for him. So it's very fascinating to see where the Braves go. Third base is an obvious spot that they have to upgrade. I don't think Austin Riley's going to be up this year. So the perfect fit for them would be Mike Moustakas of the Royals. I think they're set in the outfield with Acuna and Markakis, who's been tremendous for them, and Ender Inciarte. Dansby Swanson's been brilliant for them, so I don't see them going out and trading for Manny Machado, unless if they would play him at third base. Ozzie Albies is a star in the making, if he's not a star already. Freddie Freeman is still one of the more underrated players in baseball. A spot that could be upgraded as well as catcher. Maybe they're the team that go out against JT Realmuto, as he's going to be a hot commodity come the trade deadline. The Philadelphia Phillies are going to be a buyer. I think they're pretty much okay offensively. Their pitching staff's been tremendous. Maybe they'll go out and acquire a veteran fourth or fifth star. Maybe that's a Danny Duffy team. I heard them link the Cole Hamels. That would be a fun little reunion there in Philadelphia if the Rangers traded Hamels back to Philadelphia. I think the fans in Philly would embrace that. They're a candidate for Manny Machado, as J.P. Crawford hasn't really panned out yet. Maybe they throw him in that trade back to Baltimore, perhaps. That would be a great fit for Manny. Rhys Hoskins is on the disabled list right now, but I think he'll eventually turn it around. Nick Williams has been a nice piece for them. Abdul Herrera is a great player. And you also have Aaron Altherr, who's been solid for them. Jorge Alfaro's been a lightning rod at catcher, as he has shown the ability to throw guys out. Carlos Santana's been a nice veteran for them. Cesar Hernandez has been good. Scott Kingery's been okay. This team is loaded. And another position that I won't be surprised if they go out to try to tweak is the bullpen. Maybe they're the team that go out and gets maybe Brad Hand or Brad Ziegler, throw in that bullpen. Maybe if Tyler Clippard gets hot from Toronto, maybe he can be had at the trading deadline as well. The New York Mets are very interesting. That's a team that's on the fence, sort of in free fall. I think eventually that they're going to realize that they need to rebuild, sort of. I think they'll hold on to DeGrom and Syndergaard unless somebody other than the Yankees blows them away. I can't see either of those guys going to New York. That's why I think if I'm the Yankees, the guy I tried to go get is Madison Bumgarner, because I don't think you're getting either of those Mets guys. And personally, I'd rather have Bumgarner than the Met guys, only because the Met guys seem to get hurt all the time. And Bumgarner has proven that he's a big game, big time performer on the big stage. But unless they get blown away, maybe they will go out and try to trade DeGrom or Syndergaard, but I highly doubt that. I think Asdrubal Cabrera can be had. A team like the Braves can use him at third base if they strike out on Mike Moustakas or Josh Donaldson and Adrian Beltre. So they're an interesting team to watch. And I don't think they would trade away Todd Frazier after they signed him as a free agent. So the asset that I think they'll possibly trade away is Asdrubal Cabrera, and maybe Jesus Familia. If he starts to get going a little bit, maybe a contender will pick him up. Maybe the Phillies can look at him, or the Braves. And like I said, I don't see the two New York teams trading, so I'm not going to throw the Yankees in any conversation with Met players. And obviously the Marlins, I think they're going to be a seller. JT Realmuto I talked about. Destinations for him could be the Nationals, the Braves, the Rockies. I'll get to the Rockies in a minute. The Brewers, I'll talk about them in a minute as well. And I also heard an idea about the Astros, but I just don't see them trading away a Kyle Tucker or Forrest Whitley to go out and get JT Realmuto, because that's what I think the Marlins would demand from Houston. And another guy that can be had is Starlin Castro. I think a great fit for Castro would be the Milwaukee Brewers or the Arizona Diamondbacks. Brad Ziegler, I think, can be had. I don't think they'll trade away Jose Urena. I don't think they'll trade away Harleen Garcia, who was hot in April. So they're a team to watch in terms of a seller. Maybe Derek Dietrich gets moved. That's another veteran that I think somebody can use. Cameron Maben, somebody I think they'll trade away eventually too. NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers have been the best team in this division so far this season. They're absolutely going to be a buyer. They need to go out and get an ace. I don't see an ace on that roster. Before the year, I proposed a trade that would send Chris Archer to Milwaukee. I think that would be a great fit for the Brewers. Cole Hamels would fit nicely in Milwaukee as well. Another guy that I think would fit nice there, Danny Duffy on the back end of that rotation. Michael Fulmer would be a good fit with the trade. The Brewers have a loaded farm system, and I think that they have the pieces to go out and get a big-time starting pitcher. Cole Hamels would be an excellent fit in Milwaukee now that I'm thinking more and more about it. Second base can use an upgrade. I talked about Starlin Castro. JT Realmuto would be a great addition for them as well. Before the season, I actually predicted that the Brewers would trade for all three of Chris Archer, JT Realmuto, and Starlin Castro. So that'd be funny if all three of those guys, or at least one of them, ends up on Milwaukee. And I think their bullpen is the best in baseball this year so far. Josh Hader's been outstanding. Jared Jeffries has been good. And Corey Nebel's been great as well. So I don't think they can use an upgrade there. The St. Louis Cardinals are going to be a buyer. I think their rotation is excellent, so I don't think they'll touch that. Their offense is great, but they're a team that I think could very well go out and get Manny Machado if they wanted to. And then they can shuffle their infield. Say they were to trade for Machado, he'd play shortstop. You put Matt Carpenter at third, or at second even. You put Jose Martinez at first, and Jed Jerko at either third or second. And you can include Colton Wong in that trade. And don't forget about Paul DeJong as well. He can play second base or third base for the Cardinals as well. So, or even DeJong could be used as an asset to go back to Baltimore for Machado. So they're a team to watch in terms of Manny Machado. Maybe they flip and upgrade third base for Josh Donaldson, or Mike Moustakas or Adrian Beltre, and they can have one of those guys play third. And you can have DeJong at short, Jerko at second, and Carpenter at first. And Jose Martinez as like your utility guy type of player. But yeah, this Cardinals team is loaded, especially if they go out and upgrade on the left side of the infield. I think their bullpen needs an upgrade. Kelvin Herrera would be a good fit on the Cardinals. Brad Hand. I mentioned Brad Ziegler of the Marlins. I'm going to get to the Diamondbacks. Maybe if things go bad, Archie Bradley could be on the move. Their farm system, in my opinion, is a little weak. But they're a team that spoiler alert, I think is going to end up being a buyer. And I'll get into reasons once I get to the Diamondbacks. But yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals are a team to watch. The Chicago Cubs are obviously going to be a buyer. They're in this window of opportunity right now to win now. You heard them link to Manny Machado, and if they were going to go out and get Machado, Addison Russell would obviously be in the deal send back to the Orioles, or perhaps a third team if they were to do a 3-team trade. Maybe they'll upgrade that rotation, upgrade that fifth spot. Maybe they're the team that goes out against Danny Duffy and make him sort of like the John Lackey type of piece. Maybe they go out and get Michael Fulmer or Chris Archer. Chris Archer would be a great fit in Chicago. He'd be reunited with Joe Madden. I think he'd be really happy there. As Yu Darvish hasn't really panned out for them. Jose Quintana's been up and down. Tyler Chatwood's been up and down as well, so maybe they upgrade the rotation. Their bullpen can use some reinforcements as well. I could see Brad Ziegler thriving with the Cubs. Brad Hand would be good there as well. The Pittsburgh Pirates, I think, eventually are going to realize that they're not a contender, as they will be a seller. Josh Harrison's a player that can entice a lot of teams, such as the Milwaukee Brewers or the St. Louis Cardinals or the Arizona Diamondbacks, perhaps. I think the Rockies are intriguing for him because he would be somebody that would come off the bench for them. He's versatile. DJ LeMahieu's been hurt this year. Ryan McMahon hasn't panned out for them at first base. So the Rockies would be an interesting fit for Josh Harrison. Maybe Felipe Vasquez can be on the move. That would be a good Cardinal, or I think the Red Sox could be a good fit for Vasquez as well. And last but not least, the Cincinnati Reds are obviously going to be a seller. I don't think they're going to trade away Joey Votto. Maybe they trade away Eugenio Suarez to open up room for Nick Senzel. Adam Duvall, somebody that maybe they'll move on from. Rafael Iglesias is obviously going to be on the trade market. The Astros would be a nice fit for him. And last but not least, the NL West. The Los Angeles Dodgers, I'm buying this turnaround. Clayton Kershaw's back tonight. Justin Turner's back off the disabled list. They're eventually going to get Kenta Maeda back because he was put on the disabled list. Julio Urias is somebody that I think is going to have an impact for the Dodgers eventually. And I think they're going to go out and be a buyer. I talked about Machado with the Dodgers several times on this podcast, especially after Corey Seager got hurt. Maybe they go out and upgrade the outfield. There's a lot of different directions that the Dodgers can go. Maybe rotation. I predicted before the season that Cole Hamels would be a Dodger. That would be a nice fit. So keep an eye out for the Dodgers. I think the Diamondbacks will eventually be a buyer. Jake Lamb's off the disabled list. Paul Goldschmidt's finally starting to hit a little bit. They're going to get A.J. Pollock back. Patrick Corbin's pitching well. He's in a contract year. I could have made a case for them to sell, but I think they'll be a buyer as they're getting healthier. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Reds, and their schedule's starting to get a little bit better as well. And I think that's a team that can go out and upgrade anywhere, perhaps. I talked about middle infield. Starling Castro would be a nice fit. Josh Harrison would fit well as there. The rotation, I think, needs to be upgraded a little bit, especially after Tyjon Walker got hurt. Robbie Ray's still on the disabled list. I think they're a Danny Duffy team. Maybe Michael Fulmer would fit nicely in Arizona. So keep an eye out for that. I think their bullpen's okay. Maybe they're the team that goes out and gets a Brad Hand or a Rafael Iglesias type of reliever. Another team in that division is the Colorado Rockies. I think they'll be a buyer. They're a team, I think, that needs some upgrades in their rotation. Although Coors Field is not the friendliest place in the world, John Gray is proven as their ace. He's pitched well at Coors Field throughout his career. But I think they need more than John Gray if they are to be a contender in that division. I think Danny Duffy, that's somebody I just keep linking to every team perhaps, would be a good fit. Maybe Francisco Liriano if the Tigers decide to move on from him. Jake Odorizzi if the Twins decide to move. That would be a great fit. I like Odorizzi in Colorado. I think that would be a nice fit. A veteran that's played in big games before. I talked about Josh Harrison for them and his versatility. Their bullpen obviously needs upgrades. Maybe they're a Brad Ziegler or a Brad Hand candidate. Although I can't see the Padres trading within the division. And I'll get to the Padres in a minute. The San Francisco Giants, I think they're going to face reality that they are not a contender. So I think that's a seller. Brandon Belt, somebody I think that they're going to sell high on. I predicted Bumgarner to the Yankees before the season. I don't know if I feel as good about it as I did then because Bumgarner's a legacy player. But at the same time, I've seen stranger things that have happened in baseball and just trades throughout the sports landscape. So maybe they do trade Bumgarner, maybe they don't. I don't see them trading Buster Posey. He's the legacy guy that I can't see them moving on from. I think Bumgarner is more of a possibility because he's their best asset. And somebody like the Yankees can just blow him away with an offer. Like the Yankees can put together a package of Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier, Chance Adams, Jordan Montgomery, Eric Swanson, Justice Sheffield. Like they can pick 4 or 5 of 6 of those guys, and they can get it done without giving up Gleyber Torres, which would be a miracle for the Yankees. And Brandon Crawford is somebody that could be had, I think, potentially, as he's gotten hot of late. Maybe if Johnny Cueto comes back and pitches well, he could be a trade asset for somebody. Jeff Samardzij's contract's an abomination. Nobody's going near that. Maybe Austin Jackson, he could be somebody's 4th outfielder. Maybe Andrew McCutchen, if he starts to keep up. Evan Longoria has been pretty good this year. And I made the argument on this podcast is that the Rays, I think, should have gotten more for Longoria, although his value was down last year. Credit the Giants for taking advantage of a player whose value was low. His value is higher than it was when the Giants traded for him, so maybe he could be on the market. Last but not least, the San Diego Padres. I think they're going to be a seller. I discussed Brad Hand multiple times, so we'll stay away from Brad Hand. They'll get a lot back for him. Hunter Renfroe, Manuel Margot, Austin Hedges, Christian Villanueva, they're not moving any of those guys. And they're not going to move Eric Hosmer, who they just signed to a monster contract. They already punted on Chase Headley as they designated him for assignment. And he hasn't been picked up by anybody yet, as he has not been good as a trade acquisition from them. And neither has the guy that they got with Headley, Brian Mitchell, as he has been removed from that rotation. Another guy to keep an eye out, speaking of their rotation, is Tyson Ross, who's been solid this season. He's playing in a contract year. I think they'll move him to a contender. Maybe the Yankees, maybe the Boston Red Sox can use somebody like him. I think the Angels would be an excellent fit for Tyson Ross. If the Mets are in a cellar, maybe they're the team that goes out and gets him. The Braves would be a nice fit. The Phillies. If Jeremy Hellickson didn't work out, or if the Nationals suffer an injury in their rotation, maybe they'd be a fit for Ross. But yeah, Ross has options at the deadline for sure. That's it for the 2 months away trade deadline segment of the podcast, and that's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow giving out my awards for May for baseball and picking my All-Stars for May, making some predictions for June and for the summer of Major League Baseball. I'll do my 5th MLB mock draft as the draft is inching closer. I'll recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and I'll look back at all the baseball games from today and look ahead to the baseball games for tomorrow night. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.